as them. Primarily, all these nominees. Honorable Obi Amwa, Honorable Stephen Amwa, they are all colleagues.
And later on CNR Extra, Ghana begins sharing intelligence with Burkina Faso as part of measures to prevent violent extremists from entering Ghana's northern borders.
As part of our measures to curb extremist attacks from the region, a number of security measures have been put in place. Key among which includes 1. Regular RECSEC meetings to review security situations in the region.
CNR Extra is live on CCTV. You can join us with your comments, submissions, and thoughts via WhatsApp line 0204-4470-33, and you can join us on our YouTube page as we stream there on CTTube. Jude, Mensa, Duncan, you are welcome to the.
We're listening to people who've been appointed by the president to lead various ministries, so we couldn't come with the show, but it's good to be back here.
It was
again.
actually an interesting vetting there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely interesting. I'm sure for a lot of people, that of Honorable Stephen Amwa was probably standout. Of course, KT Amwa also served some interesting sound bites.
Yes.
So
and also Eya too.
Yes,
Brian
yeah,
Champo.
yeah. So it's been I said Eya too. Yeah, so it's been interesting the past 2 days. Some of the things they were saying. I'm sure there'll be time where we can delve into it.
Exactly, we'll delve into it as we go on
comments
in the show. So let's bring you the very first story. The High Court in Accra has directed the lawyers of Kwabena Edu Jemfi, who is the Secretary of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, to properly serve Okudzeto Ablakwa, who is the MP for Norton. Let's bring you that insight.
The High Court in Accra has directed lawyers of the National Cathedral, Kwabena Edu Jemfi, otherwise known as Reverend Victor Kusibuating, to properly serve the Norton Member of Parliament, Okudzeto Ablakwa, on the contempt processes against him. Lawyers of the plaintiff filed a contempt application against the Member of Parliament after he was captured in a viral video kicking an interim injunction that was secured relating to a defamation suit against him. But in court on Tuesday, the court noted that the Member of Parliament has not been served properly relating to the contempt application as required by law. There's more in the following report.
The premises of the High Court in Accra was filled with party supporters, traditional leaders and admirers of the Norton MP Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. For these supporters, including executives of the party, the suit is only an attempt to gag the Member of Parliament. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has been against him. Lawyers for Victor Kusibuating, after filing a defamation suit, applied for the interim injunction to restrain the Norton MP from making further publications on their client. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, in numerous publications, had indicated that Victor Kusibuating, under the name Kwabena Edu Jemfi, benefited from contracts of the National Cathedral and have thus accused the Secretary to the Board of Trustees of conflict of interest and double identity fraud. But when the case was called in court on Tuesday, the mode of serving the processes of contempt on Okudzeto Ablakwa became a matter of contention. The judge ruled that the MP had not been served according to records available to him, even though Okudzeto Ablakwa had responded to the application. The judge indicated that any of the processes that the counsel for Okudzeto Ablakwa procured from social media processes for the MP. He does urge lawyers of the plaintiffs to follow the necessary processes expressed content about the direction from the speaker.
So what transpired was that in court, when you hear of a court matter that concerns you, you can waive your rights of service and answer the issue. But the judge is of the opinion that because the constitutional right to be served properly through the Speaker in Parliament, given the status of the respondent in this matter, the Honorable Kujetua Ablakwa. So the matter has been adjourned sine die for the applicants to put their house in order.
The supporters who were outside the premises of the court after getting wind of the decision of the court jubilated what they described as a victory. The minority in parliament was heavily represented, led by the deputy minority leader Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa. He described as unacceptable the proceedings against Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa and expressed support of the minority to the NDC legislator.
We should have seen Mr. Jude in court, but instead, you know who was in court? The man who was fighting for the right thing for Ghana, Okudzeto Ablakwa. And that is why you are all here. That is why you see all the crowd here. The people of Ghana are committed and support all the right things he's fighting for. The minority in parliament stands strongly behind him. And we want to make it clear. Today we went to court, it was obvious that the people who took us to court are running away from their own application.
Also present was the General Secretary of the party, Fifi Fiavikwete, who noted that the party hierarchy is in support of the works of the MP.
NDC as a party, from the national through the region, through Ketu, to North Town, is fully behind our comrade, our brother, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. To say that the party is not deterred at all, that there's nothing that the forces that are against the truth can do to discourage him or to make him feel that what he's doing is not the right cause. We believe the cause he's fighting is the cause of truth, the cause of transparency, and there's nothing that can be done to discourage him. And the party stands fully 100% behind him.
So that was what happened at court yesterday, and this comes as a result of being publishing for the National Cathedral Trust Board of Trustees, the secretary, and the double identity of Reverend Victor Kusibuatin, among other things that Okudzeto Ablakwa revealed. And this is where we are today. What do you make of this? And at the point that the court is asking that Okudzeto Ablakwa should
which portrayed that the member of parliament for North Tongo was being served after he had made an appearance on, I think, Metro TV's morning show. I mean, I myself, it alarmed me a little, and subsequently we saw him throw the purported documents on the floor and everything. I mean, media. From that moment, I knew it was going to be a little interesting. I mean, in the first way, the manner in which the people believed to be court officials accosted him after the show raised some eyebrows, and for me, I didn't think it was the proper thing to go. I don't think the show is where we delve into civil procedure and what should be done and what not ought to be done. But I thought it was a little it didn't look like the proper way to go about it in the first place. So I'm not surprised at all with the court's decision ordering the lawyers of Kusibuatin to these, the lawyer for Reverend Victor Kusibuatin said they've been trying to reach the member of parliament for some time, and it's been proven unsuccessful. But we understand that there's also substituted service, in that you don't necessarily have to give it to the person in person, right? So you can place it somewhere that's the course described as reasonable enough for the person to see. Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is a public figure. He's a member of parliament. We all know where their offices are. If for nothing at all, I'm sure it could have been done through parliament and all of that. So interesting days ahead, and we want to see the right things done with regards to serving appropriately like the court have directed. But for me, in all of this, the bigger question really is government's insistence and commitment towards building the cathedral, irrespective of everything that is going on. And for me, the continuous commitment of resources to a project in the current circumstances we find ourselves in economically as a country, for me, is quite shocking. I mean, I expect that even if we like no scandals at all.
I don't know if I think the construction is on hold because members of the Board of Trustees have also come out to ask that some sort of investigation or auditing must be put into the funds that have been used so far. So as of now, it's on hold.
Yeah, I mean, senior religious figures, pastors in the country, so we understand initially the first to withdraw was Reverend Duncan Mills, subsequently Pastor Jude Anaba and Archbishop Duncan Williams also.
Pastor Mensa who also withdrew.
Well, we are not too sure the circumstances, but for Bishop Duncan Mills, he put out a full letter about 6 pages detailing the reasons why he left. Archbishop Duncan Williams, Pastor Jude Anaba did same, explaining that it should go through a proper process of auditing and all of that. So for me, I don't understand why government is still committing. I mean, yesterday we heard Adam was asked how governments can tackle the issue of that debt sustainability. And he says for him, it's pretty straightforward. Cut expenditure. And for me, somebody who is being nominated to become a Minister of State at the Finance Ministry saying this, I don't see how people inside at the moment don't see that there's a need to cut expenditure. And one of it is the National Cathedral. In the current circumstances we find ourselves in, I don't think is the most efficient way of managing state funds. And for me, I mean, the scandals that have sort of characterized this construction is clear for all to see. I mean, every time we are being saddled with another, egregious claim, if it's not a duplication of personality, then it's money is being taken from. Now we understand.
So let's see how that unfolds in court, but still let's go to court and bring you another unfolding story there that has to do with the coup plotters case. And the first accused person in that case has stated that, or accused that, the state of planning weapons retrieved from his hospital at the time of his arrest. Let's bring you that story and we'll further explain or have a conversation on after that insert.
The first accused person in the coup plotter case has accused the state of planting the weapons retrieved from his hospital at the time of the arrest. Dr. Frederick McPalm allegedly plotting to topple the government, but when he opened his defense on Tuesday, the medical doctor by profession accused the government of framing him and the other accused persons.
Dr. McPalm, who is the first accused person in his evidence in chief, noted that the non-governmental organization Take Action Ghana was formed in or about July 2019. During cross-examination, however, it was resolved that the group was incorporated in 2018. Dr. McPalm noted that the aims and objectives of Take Action Ghana is mainly to mobilize, sensitize, and educate the citizenry about their basic and fundamental rights. However, prosecution argued chief also accused the prosecution witness 3, Sule Awaf, of framing and planting most of the weapons that were retrieved during the arrest. According to Dr. McPalm, PW3, that's prosecution witness 3, instigated about 90% of all conversations, topics, and discussions. He noted that the video recordings that were tendered to the court as Exhibit D by PW3 were doctored. He also accused PW3 for the by armed robbers during one of their outreach trips on the Bolibamboy stretch. But during cross-examination, the prosecution indicated that the statements were untrue. The Director of Public Prosecution replayed videotapes which have been tendered in evidence of ammunitions being manufactured in Dr. McPalm's hospital in his presence. However, Dr. McPalm insisted that the tapes were doctored and could not speak to them. Dr. McPalm also accused the police, military intelligence, and the BNI of engaging in selective arrest and prosecution of people of certain extraction because they did not find anything incriminating in his WhatsApp chats with some of the accused persons. During the cross-examination, however, the prosecution pointed out a WhatsApp engagement between Dr. McPalm and ACP Agojo, where Dr. McPalm is alleged to have said that the Take Action Ghana will be used to trigger something similar to the Arab Spring. However, Dr. McPalm noted that he did not see anything wrong with an Arab Spring, as President Akufo-Addo had made mention to same during his days as flag bearer in
I don't know how long this case is going to travel, and at the end of the day, we're going to get the finality to this particular issue.
I mean, it's a shocking accusation from the accused person, Dr. Frederick Yao McPalm.
Yes.
I mean, if you follow the case since the formation of the group, that's Take Action Ghana, where apparently it was on a WhatsApp platform where they were mobilizing and trying to organize a demonstration, and certain chats later revealed that they were trying to procure weapons and explosives and all of that up until this time, 2018 till now. I think we've allowed this case, this treasonable case, to have gone on for a little too much. I mean, in certain jurisdictions, when there are instances or there are perceived cases where people have threatened the peace and stability of a country, it's dealt with as swiftly as possible. And to let this linger on for this long, for me, I'm not too sure about it.
The court is handling the issue, and let the court still do its work. But let's move to another story. This had to do with the ex-Black Star footballer, that is Christian Achu, who met his untimely death at well, the family, the Ghana Football Association, and the Sports Ministry, they are deliberating on how the funeral arrangement will be done. Now, let's bring you that insert.
Family of the late Christian Achu, the Ghana Football Association, and the Ministry of Sports have held deliberations on the funeral rites of the ex-Black Stars player. The one-week observation of Achu's demise will take place on Saturday, the 4th of March 2023. The 31-year-old passed away following a devastating earthquake in Turkey early this month. CT Sports' Evans of Ochumanso was at Achu's family house earlier today and has filed this report.
It's the second day since the Book of Condolence was opened here at the family house of Christian Achu behind the St. Peter's Mission School at Ododo. Several sympathizers have been coming to the family house to commiserate with the family. Earlier today, former Black Stars players, including Asamoah Gyan, his brother Bafo Gyan, Sulali Munta, signed the Book of Condolence and then shared some moments with the family. Later in the day, Deputy Sports Minister Evans will be led officials from the Sports Ministry and the Ghana Football Association to commiserate with the family of the late Black Stars player at his family house. Nana Odro Safo, Executive Council member of the Ghana Football Association, alongside the Communication Director of the GFA, Henry Asante Chum, and Mr. Alex Asante were all involved in the delegation. Communication Director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante Chum, told the media the summary of their meeting with the family of Christian Achu.
Our mission, first of all, was to commiserate with the family and share our sympathies with the family, and then also in view of that, we wanted to find out if any arrangements have been made whatsoever. So I think that yes, the family informed us that per the custom and the tradition of the family, the 1 week observation will be held on 4th of March, Saturday 4th March. In their plans, they wanted to have the funeral on 17th of March, 17th, 18th of March. But it is something that they need to do in conjunction with the state, because to the GFA and the state to come back to the family in terms of finalization and confirmation. So the Deputy Minister, through Executive Council Member Odro Safo, also informed the family that we will go back and relay the information to the Sports Minister, who is not in town, and then the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, who is also not in town. And once we relay the information to them and they approve the 17th, 18th match, will come back to the family. After that, official announcement will be made. But the 1 week observation will take place on Saturday, March 4. The venue will be communicated in due course because the family expect the state to also come in as regards space and venue for the 1 week observations.
On the side of government, Deputy Sports Minister Evans Bobier highlighted government's commitment to ensure Achu gets a befitting farewell.
Our mission here this afternoon is just simple: to come and greet the family and then to find out the necessary arrangements that they are putting in place. First of all, for the 1 week celebration, and then secondly, for the final funeral rite, so that we can also the presidency that the state will be deeply involved. So it is better and proper, like I said, culturally, to come back to the family and then find out all the necessary arrangements they are putting in place, so that we can also communicate same back to the presidency for the state to be able to know at what level of involvement that the state will come in.
Family head of the Chwasam family, Nene G.K. Chwasam, was elated with the support that the family has received across the globe.
The support the family received was so novel. A lot of people sent their consoling messages. Some also came in kind to support. Visitors will be coming so that we can take care of them. These are the things that came, both home and abroad. They are all coming.
Also, to visit the family house today was Achu's manager when he played for Cheetah FC, Abdul Hayate, and one personality that worked closely with him during his philanthropic works, Mr. Ibrahim Opon Kwarten of Crime Check. Mr. Kranten shared fond memories of his time with Christian Achu.
He reached out to me about 5 years ago. He obviously has been following us on social media, and then I think he was touched by the humanitarian work we are doing in the prisons, and then other interventions that we are making. Give people passion that he had, and the fact that he grew up from a very poor background. We started with a petty offenders project, where he paid the fines of petty offenders who find themselves in prison. And as we speak, he's been able to release over 160 petty offenders, and not only release them, but under our ex-convict. So see most of these people on the streets selling air refreshness, car air refreshness, and so on and so forth. Most of these people were given trading capital by Christian Achu.
Outside football, Achu touched so many lives through his philanthropic works. He served as a key ambassador for charity organization Arms Around the Child, and my colleague Yahweh Jeminta spoke with the organization's global director Ellie Milner, and this is what she had to say about the former Black Stars player.
It's quite organic, really, how that sort of stuff works. In a lot of ways, I just happened to know somebody who was working at Chelsea, Gaynor Fascioni, who was working with Chelsea Football Club, and she just mentioned that she was working with Christian on a couple of things, and that he was really interested. So we all went to Newcastle, and we all met and had a fabulous. We work in India, South Africa, and Ghana. So he was interested in all of the work that we did with all of the children. But immediately he was just like, "Great, well, let's go meet the children. Let's do it. Let me help you." And it was brilliant. So from then on, he kind of, we visited Ghana many times. he used to visit the children, and when he wasn't able to and wasn't there, he would send truckloads of goods and food and supplies to the children, and then he would go and take them all out on a shopping trip, and other times he would go down and play football with them. And
It's been a day of commiserations here at the family house of Christian Achu. More Ghanaians are expected to be here to commiserate with the family and continue tomorrow and subsequent days. Reporting for City News, I am Evans Ofochumanso.
Christian Achu deserves a befitting burial, and government has made it known that it's going to support the family to ensure that he gets a befitting burial. This is a very sad news. The day over the weekend when the story broke, it was sad. I just couldn't hold myself. But you think of the philanthropic work that he's done, and people coming out to say that he's helped me in one way or the other. He's put food on my table. He's seen me through school and all that. I think that is a step in the right direction, that everybody is having a support in here to ensure that at least he's buried well.
I mean, Philip, definitely a heart-wrenching story. I mean, it's not the news we expected as a people when it first broke out that he'd been trapped under the rubble. But of course, we give thanks to God at every remembrance of Christian Achu, and we hope that his legacy will continue to outlive him. And for me, it's like I'm saying, it's sad, plainly just sad and very, very painful. The developing story to this, also very unfortunately, is that the technical director of his club, Hatayaspo, that's done a survey. You remember when the news first broke, it was reported that Achu was reportedly trapped with the Hatayaspo Football Club's technical director. It also emerged that he also lost his life not too far away from where Achu was found. So, I mean, it's a very difficult period, and I mean, it's what has really, it's been the highlight or the shining point in this. You see footballers coming together and mourning the loss of Achu. You see even government officials. When his body arrived in the country, you saw the presidency being represented by the vice president. The minister for information was there. Football authorities were there. And for me, that's the kind of thing we want to see. It's sad that it's happened. It's very unfortunate. Our condolences, sincere condolences to the family, and we have them in their wife and children, their parents, their sister, and those who work very closely with him. We would have him in our thoughts and our prayers all the time.
Of course. So the 1 week observation of Christian Achu will be done on Saturday, 4th March 2023. Certainly, we'll bring you all the actions that will be happening there concerning his burial. This is still CNR Extra here on CCTV, still to come. Tension mounts between Dentra, Ayamfuri and Fombisu communities in the Upper Dentra West District of the Central Region over the death of a 22-year-old
Creamy Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
I passed by your favorite barbecue place and I got you something.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your pain level?
No, focus, Ayana.
Push harder.
Oh, I'm trying.
Oh, you've got to try harder.
I can't.
What I think is happening here is the usual bureaucratic nonsense.
They forced their way into the patient's room and they held the treatment over his head.
And you're not going to stop until you destroy everything that is good and decent about this hospital. I'm just lost for words.
Thank you for rescuing me from that accident.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra here on City TV. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204-447033. Let's bring you some more stories and take you to the Ashanti region, where some students who were placed in their preferred schools in terms of the senior high school education were frustrated on Monday when they went there for the placement. They were involved.
Disappointed after they were not served. They thus want the Ghana Education Service to ensure all schools put adequate measures in place to reduce the burden of students and parents during registration in subsequent years. Our Middle Belt Bureau Chief Edward Oponma for reports.
Nanethia Brago from Pomer's brother has gained admission to T.I. Ahmadian Senior High School in Kumasi. They had to travel from Techiman in the Brunei East region to Kumasi early Monday morning in order to get her brother go through the registration process. She tells City News they will have to go back to Techiman and return the next day since they were not attended to as a result of the long queue.
I feel disappointed. We've been here from morning, 10 a.m. till now. No one has attended to us. We came here, there were fights all over. We've joined the queue. They'll rearrange again. We will still join the queue, but no one is attending to us. And I don't know if they will attend to us or we will leave just like that.
Other frustrated parents and guardians have been speaking to City News.
I think the online system should be very active. The online system. Here, we came here early in the morning.
Around what time did you come here?
We came here around 5 a.m. But yet, we have not been attended to. And then I think the lecturers who are attending to the parents are very few. If you can get more lecturers, I think it will be very, it will be unfair.
I don't know why this process is quite, slow. It is very slow. When we came early Monday, they told us to buy voucher, fill this one, then they direct us here. They told us those who are taking our science, they are going to eat. And then it took a whole lot of time. Please, it's not good. Whether you can, tell the authorities to speed up things next time. It will be good for the parents.
The assistant headmaster in charge of academics at T.I. Ahmadian Senior High School, Benjamin Ampadu, served on Monday.
The number is so huge. Probably with the last year, we programmed it in such a way that we gave almost every parent or student who have qualified to come to TIMAS a particular date through the online registration. But this year, we did not do that. So it has made almost all parents coming today, which has created problem for us. So moving forward, what I will say that it is unfortunate, and we are very sorry about that.
He adds that, so far, the school has adequate food supplies to cater for students who have just been admitted.
With regards to food Now, food is not a problem. It's not a problem at all. Buffer stock have brought in enough food for us to use to feed the students, even the 4 months who are yet to come. Almost about more than half of stock to take care of them ready. Though they will be reporting on the 27th, but yet their food, we have enough food at the stores to take care of them. So food is not a problem at all.
Some parents and guardians are calling on authorities to ensure that various schools put in place measures to ensure that the process becomes less cumbersome. For City News, I'm Edward Upon Malfo, TI Ahmadiyya Senior High School, Kumasi.
So issues about the placement system as one that often happens yearly, and when you go to the Nat Hall that is here in Accra, parents and their wards or guardians and their say people dependents are there ensuring that they fix all the challenges that are associated with the placement system, i.e. People not getting school. Some are also been given girls school when the student is a male, and some have also been given female schools when the student is also a male, like I said initially. So it looks like you move from this stage, you get to the institution, and there is also another issue there. Indicated as of last year, they put in measures to ensure that parents and their wards came at a particular time. So it wasn't like they all came in bulk. So they had time for a particular group. You come at this time, and another group comes at this time. Do you think that the situation is getting worse?
Of course, it's getting worse. The story we are dealing with, mind you, is about students who have been placed in their preferred schools. So to suggest that they are actually okay with the schools they've been given and have gone there trying to sort out their registration problems. And even this category of students are finding problems. So you can imagine those who are still yet to be matched to a school, because at the time of the announcement, you understood that some 165,000 students had not been placed yet. We want to believe that the numbers have come down significantly, but I think it's impossible to say all of that 165,000 cases they selected. So for instance, a male being placed in a female or female school. So I mean the challenges are staggering, and I've always said that, see, if you look at the time from the release of schools to when students were expected to go into these schools, it was completely unrealistic. I mean, in no functioning educational system do you see this happening, and for which reason I don't understand why it's not been extended. The argument is that, oh, extend it and it distorts the whole academic calendar. But registration. And 27th is for academic work.
Yes.
That's just a 7-day period. So is that to suggest that if you still miss the orientation and the registration is fine? If you miss orientation and registration, it will definitely eat into the time academic work is supposed to start. And you see, I've heard the NAGRAT president, Angel Kabonu, make a very important point. And it's true, we are both products of this educational system. In the first week of school reopening, it's not really, the first like 2-3 weeks, it's not maybe the third week proper work start. But in the first 2 weeks, it's still very laxed and everything. That's fine. But you still need students to pass orientation. When students don't go through orientation, that is how come they don't even know that there's a functioning counseling system for them when they go through traumatic experiences. They don't even know where the school clinic is and all of that. These are also very important. I mean, you need the
extended.
It should be extended
because
further.
The ranking member on the education committee, Peter Nochukoto,
it should be
said that
extended
it
further.
should be extended to March 1.
See,
so it's going to give parents ample time for all these challenges.
Let me just make, I totally agree. That would have been an enough time frame for parents and students alike to get their act together. My point is that, see, it's the responsibility of people in leadership, that's the GS and the Ministry of Education, to think broadly about some of these problems. If it was just about giving a date and making sure that everybody, we both could have been GS bosses.
It looks like this conversation is not going to end anytime soon, because the extension is what some stakeholders are also calling for, and also addressing the issues associated with the placement. The central region, where tension is mounting between the Dentra, Ayamfuri and the Fombiso communities in the upper Dentra West district of the central region over the death of a 22-year-old man. Let's bring you that insight.
Now, tension is mounting between Dentra, Ayamfuri and Fombiso communities in the upper Dentra West district of the central region over the death of a 22-year-old man. The deceased, Evans Rekon, was stoned to death at Dentra Fombiso over his alleged involvement in a robbery incident at a Galamsey site in the community. Family members of the deceased are thus demanding the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators. Our Central Regional correspondent, Calvis Tete, has more in the following report.
The deceased is a 22-year-old former student of Adisadel College in Cape Coast and is known by his peers as Evans Reko, while others of the Fombiso community was attacked by unknown persons at a Galamsey site, and Reko was accused of the attack and was arrested by members of the community and dragged before the chief. According to information gathered by City News, even though the deceased denied any wrongdoing, the chief of Fombiso allegedly ordered for him to be dealt with, causing angry residents to stone Reko. According to family members of the deceased, before they could arrive at Fombiso from Ayamfuri after the news of their relative being stoned reached them, he had already passed away and his body conveyed by the police. The deceased is a 21-year product of Adisadel College in Cape Coast, but could not proceed to the university last year, remedial exams, and was waiting again for admission to the university this year. Mother of the deceased, Salamatu Reko, narrated how the incident happened to City News.
For Breso, Ama Bako, Adjane, Ama Yakun Evans. Until one more come over, she say, Evans over. And I'm saying, I'm a far phone, I'm a friend of Papa. The poem was so who when I have done a lot of farm, and on father. Or father was say, oh, but when you know more lies, one nanny. Now you've asked for a community. Or not the Omugu so brown. Don't do a new yes, why? Well, I am you. Yeah, Papa, you would have mentioned on farm fowl. Yes, I got to watch road. I mean, watch a crop. Say I don't go. Say I hear. Yes, I police for it, and then I got to watch it. Police for yes, so one more than a call, hen and all. So much a crow for. Now, you know, therefore, there's crow for me, crow for the jim for black. It will move me ban or your horn or the fan motor. It will your crow for no more.
Devastated father of the deceased wants the police to take action and have the killers of his son arrested and made to face justice. Nana Kwesi Kwatin is the Akwemuhini of the Dentra Traditional Council and is also the Busuapenyi of Ayamfuri. But for his intervention, an armed youth group would have stormed Fombiso to avenge the death of their colleague. Even as he admonishes the youth of his community to exercise restraint, he wants the matter to be dealt with in order not to have an escalation.
But up to now, I can say, on any intimate frame, and there will be answering to me frame Mamma and you could say, say, Nessia, no more Bama, dear, I can be. It remembers any more food in danger. I mean, I'm a gusso de Yansakwabi, Edujo Makuma, Senebea, Uncle Fat, or Yeneka saving a day, Emma. I'm as Macquarie penny and a man penisa, the messenger on penny IGP, the police for 1 penny for a while, I can be home. So momodin no momre kunu so may arrest.
Assemblyman for Ayamfuri, Kwesi Enim Castro, wants the police to take swift action to calm tensions between the two communities. He describes the action of the perpetrators as a deliberate one.
For those who be great to you know, money to Nemo, the air can say, Saturday no more, I know. A day yaudi, a beside fruitful.
The family of the deceased is asking that the police must speed up investigations and also arrest the perpetrators that did this, committed the crime. Let's go to my colleague Carvis Teta, who is our Central Regional Correspondent, is following this story keenly. Carvis, what is the update on this story? What is happening in the two communities? And have you spoken to the family this morning? What have they been telling you?
Well, I must say, persons in these two, there is tension between persons in these two communities, the Fobenso community and then Ayamfuri community in the Upper Intra West District of the Central Region. This comes in the wake of the killing of a 22-year-old boy at Fobenso, who is alleged that he went to engage in some galamsey activities. And then prior to that, some days before, on a site, and they were suspecting that this boy was one of them. So I think there were two in number, the boys who went to the site to perform galamsey activities. This very boy who is now dead, Evans Reko, together with his colleagues, went to the site to perform galamsey activities. But after they went to the site, there was a robbery incident, and the persons around there believed that they were those ones who engaged in the robbery. According to my sources, one of the boys who was with Reko managed to escape, but Evans Reko couldn't escape, and then he was arrested, taken to the chief's palace, and then subsequently the chief ordered that, he's washing his hands of the issue, and for that matter, the community should do whatever they want to do with him. So he was thrown to death. This morning I spoke to the father of the boy, and he's actually distraught that such an incident, such a thing has to happen to his son. According to him, even if the boy to death, according to him, if the police don't take action and arrest some persons who are involved in the issue, this could raise a lot of clashes between the two communities. That is his worry.
So with this that you made mention of the father raising issues that there may be a reprisal attack between the two communities, what has been the police response to it? And have you cited any police officers deployed to these communities to ensure that the tension there is calm?
Well, after speaking to the father of the boy, I also got to know that the chief who is alleged to have ordered that the boy be stoned to death went to the police. He was invited by the police yesterday to the police station. And we don't know the details of what went on. You know, we've tried as much as possible to speak to the police, but you know, there are laws now. They are not allowed to speak to the media. But the father is saying that he's hoping that now that the chief has been invited, the police will go down to the issues and then further arrest perpetrators of his son's death. He believes that if this is not done on time, a reprisal attack can happen. And, you know, in areas like that, you know, they come in a group. So, it is something that is serious that the police need to take steps immediately to arrest.
And keep us updated as to what happens there. This is a story coming from the Dentra, Ayamfuri and Fubinsu communities. That is, tension is mounting there in the Upper Dentra West District of the Central Region following the death or the killing of a 22-year-old man. I think that from what Carvis is saying, that means security must be intensified in the communities immediately so that the reprisal attacks will be averted.
Definitely, and you can understand why there are fears that there will be reprisal attacks. Anytime I read the news and I see a story of a parent having to lose their son or a daughter as a result of some of these mob justice, instant justice, without any proper, it's always a sad state. It's always a sad scenario. And of course, our condolences to the family.
Yes.
We plead with the two communities to just hold their just let peace prevail.
They should hold their horses.
Hold their horses. Let it go through. I mean, if they have any grievances, they should go through the court, and I'm sure whatever compensation there is will probably be given to them.
Well,
I don't think violence is the way in some of these things.
So the law must take its course and ensure that peace is restored in. Majority in Parliament appeals to the National Democratic Congress (NDC) and the Minority Caucus in Parliament to rescind its decision not to approve the new ministers appointed by President Akufo-Addo. Stay with us. We'll be back with more after this break.
Everybody, let me see. My name is Joe Metal, and I want to invite you especially to the induction service of Dr. Stephen Wyndham and the outdooring of the new executive presbytery officers of the Assemblies of God. It's happening on the 25th of this February, 9 a.m. sharp at the Grand Arena International Conference Center. Come, let's join together as we adore our new leadership, and we're trusting that God will lead them to take the church to where He intends it to be. God bless you, and see you there.
There is about to be a shift, growth, and transformation as they plan to reach, rebuild, restore, reform, reposition, and rebrand the Assemblies of God Ghana. Proverbs chapter 11 verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall, but there is safety in the multitude of counsel.
You're welcome back. Now, the Majority Caucus is asking the Minority Caucus and the NDC to rescind its decision on not approving the
nominated ministers on Monday. The NDC directed the minority group not to approve them, describing their appointment as an insensitive move that would increase government expenditure in the midst of an economic mess. Addressing the media, the Majority Chief Whip Frank Anodompre appealed to the NDC and its members in Parliament to support the approval of the ministerial nominees. There's more in the following report.
Following a decision by the Minority Caucus in Parliament not to approve the newly appointed ministers by President Nana Akufo-Addo, the majority in Parliament has appealed to the group to rescind its decision and support the nominees.
I just want our colleagues to understand that for the sake of the unity and the desire for us to forge a working relationship, and this is their major decision, major in terms of the fact that, okay, since they come into leadership, this is the first time, more or less, they are going to make such a significant decision that they should temper, so-called temper, the relevance of this. But I'm just saying it, that they should just let's go, support the nominees, let's pass them. Primarily, all these nominees, the Honorable Brian, the Honorable K.T. Hammond, Honorable Obi Amwa, the Honorable Stephen Amwa, they are all our colleagues. They are all our colleagues. And in this house, we have this convention that if one of our own is nominated and privileged to be nominated, we rally around one another to get them endorsed, especially in the case that there is no criminal committer of any crime. It will not be injurious if they saw the decision. I'm just appealing to them, for them to remember that today will be a very significant day in our body politics.
So the minority still says that it stands by its decision not to approve the new nominees. And this morning, a story came out from the minority chief whip, Governor Kwame Abuja, on that. What do you make of this brief?
This is that to suggest that we don't need a trade minister, we don't need an agric minister. I mean, I get the argument that a year and a half will be very small time for them to effect any major policy change within the period. But that notwithstanding, these are cabinet positions. We need representation there. So that argument for me was quite not too clear. I mean, it would have been a little, there will be some merit to that letter if, for instance, they said that they were specific about which roles did not need appointment. So, for instance, you say the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, because at the time we understood that the one who was there before, that's Charles Dubois, his role was to complement a Minister of Finance who wasn't too well at the time. So now that the minister, by the grace of God, is well, we don't need that role again. I expected the party, that's the NDC, to be pointing out.
So you think that the party shouldn't box it up, saying
exactly
that
in its broad,
everybody should not be approved.
The minority have a mind on their own, and they are going to do whatever it takes. That is politically expedient for them. When they wanted Alban Bagwin to become Speaker of Parliament, they knew how to go about it. So, I mean, one thing.
The minority side. This is how we for your time, and keep watching CTV.